Um, I'm AC Cuddy, the hip hop judge, and we got a special interview today. You know what I'm saying? We're interviewing Miss Shawana, and it's actually Money Man G Money's mom's, and it's gonna be a really interesting interview. We definitely want to hear things from her perspective and see how it's going. Let's see. I see one here. I'm going to see. Okay, I see it. All right, it should be loading up. Let's see what's going on. Okay, go live, accept. All right. It should be going. This is the part that usually always be messing up. So let's just see exactly because I'm pressing accept. Let's see. It actually says you're on here with us. I can't hear anything. Can you see me or is everything, how's it looking on you guys' side? It shows me on my side it's saying that you're on here, but a lot of times it'll do that. And okay. Oh, so you can see me. Okay. Um, you only see me. What's good, everybody tuning in? Okay, bada boom, bada bing. There we go. How you doing, ma'am?
Hey, how are
I'm
you?
good. I'm good. Good to see. Good to see you. It's good to hear from you. It's been
Oh,
years, man.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, I was just a little. I was 18 years old the last time I seen you. If I remember, I'm 30 now.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I definitely appreciate you joining our platform. I know we always have issues when we're trying to do this, man. So I definitely appreciate your patience with us. Um, so we just gonna make this quick because I know you got things that you need to do. So we're gonna start off with introducing yourself to the world. What do you want the people to know about you and things like that?
Well, my name is Shawana Campbell. I am a business and tax consultant. That's what my business is. And of course, I have my son, he's in prison. And I have a daughter, she's 17. Both of them are the love of my life. Um, that's pretty much all that I can say about me right now that I can
Okay.
think of.
Okay. So, how did you actually get into a business consult? How did you get into that business?
Well, it started when I was living in Michigan. I went to school for business management
Okay.
and master's is in taxation. But what happened was um I kind of like was always in the management field. And when it got to the point where I think I got old enough to do taxes and so forth, so I kind of grouped it all together because I started off just doing taxes. And then
Right.
as the years went on, because I've been in business now for about 20 years. So as the years went on, I just started adding more and more services. And here I am today.
Okay. So you saw, we all know you G Money's moms and stuff like that, and he's been doing a long time in prison now. Um, can you tell me, from your perspective, how is he different now than when we was all growing up, when we was all 16, running around, being crazy and stuff like that? From your perspective, what's the difference?
So I think now versus back then, he's matured a lot. Being in there, nobody really understands or can even grasp that world if you've never been in that system.
Straight up.
But during the time with him and watching him grow as an adult, I can see like back then he was a little, I seen a lot more anger, a lot of things he was dealing with mentally that he had to, a lot of demons he was fighting. So as the time, I guess the time he spent inside, he had to grow, and I've
Right.
seen him as he's become more humble, um, more loving. He's definitely my child. So it's like the things that he saw growing up, the hustle in me it has grown 10 times more in him since he's been in there. He's had a lot of time to think about different things he want to do, put a lot of things into perspective, and look at things from a different perspective.
Right.
So honestly, I hate to say, but I kind of feel like it kind of saved his life.
Right. And that's actually that was going to be my next subject. Because I noticed that as well. Do you feel like sometimes we need to go through these processes in order to grow and realize? Because I feel like a lot of this, he had a lot of time to sit and think and stuff like that, and you don't necessarily have that same opportunity on the outside because life moves so fast. Do you feel like sometimes we need to hit our head and things like that to grow, or how do you feel about that?
Being a single mother, one thing I can say, he always knew his mom was gonna be there. My mama was always gonna save him. So that was kind of like more of a crutch where he didn't really have to be responsible, or if he was irresponsible, I picked up the pieces. Now, do I feel he should have hit his head? Yeah, but not this hard. We could have
Right.
done something a little different where I mean, me being young at the time as well, you really don't know.
Right.
Me moving to, I thought was the best thing for him to be the best in life, but I guess that wasn't, I won't say the best thing, but things happen. And yeah, everybody needs to hit their head, and the moms have to, and the parents have to let you guys go, experience your own path by yourself, but not the path that leads you to the inside. It's different things you can do.
Right. Definitely.
Head that hard,
Right.
but it's all about holding yourself accountable for your actions.
Definitely understand that. What advice do you have for other single mothers going through a similar situation, dealing with their child maybe in and out the system? They maybe not have done so long that he's done, but what advice do you just have for other mothers that with problem childs and things like that?
Well, I won't even say a problem child, because believe it or not, he wasn't a problem child. It's just that he got caught up and it went from one extreme to the next. Like, you went from being the perfect child, because he was really like the best child. Then when he became a teenager, things started going left, and it just went from here to here. It wasn't no in between. So I'm not going to say a problem child. Everybody's not a problem child.
Right, that makes sense.
Have for any parent is keep them busy. Try to keep them involved in different things as possible. Therapy. We see when our kids is going through something mentally. In the Black community, she over here talking in the
Hey, that's real, man. That's real.
One of the things that we don't want to face is, or even address, is our mental health. We have to stop looking at our kids and saying, they'll be all right. They'll be all right. Nothing wrong with it. Get these kids in therapy. Get these kids in places or around people, and not anybody, because there's some weirdos out here, but get your kids around people where they can have a free space to express themselves. Because the more you hold stuff in, the more you end up in these situations where we have to visit in prison. The kids are on drugs or alcoholics or end up in prison or dead.
Right.
So we have to address the issues early. Do not just think that they're okay. If they're expressing or even showing any signs of any mental health issues, whether, when you think of mental health, you think of retardation, or it's not just that. When I say mental, is more or less dealing with life. We have to learn how to teach our kids to deal with life. When I was younger, we didn't have all these issues. Growing up, you guys, I've never seen no shit like it. Like, it's bad out here for y'all. So we have to stay connected with our children mentally, starting as early as them coming out the womb. I don't care. You don't understand what they talking about, but talk to your kids.
Right. So you actually mentioned something really key. I want you to kind of expand on that. You said the culture is different now than when it was from you growing up. Can you explain those differences and what do you see that's a little bit more difficult now, maybe a little bit easier in your generation, or just different in general?
I think the difference now when it comes to people, even though we had the gang bangers, we had the drug addicts, we had all of that back then, but we had more love. Like, people cared about people back then. Even the gang bangers had boundaries. You know, you don't fight if you with the parent. You know, if they with their kids, y'all just walk. You know, it was respect. Nowadays, these kids just don't care. They don't care about nothing. No boundaries, no love. They care more about things than they do people. And it's getting worse year after year. So that's why I said we have to have a tight grip, because love is slowly fading. And that's what it's all
Right.
about. Like, back then, even with our grandparents, they expressed love. Nobody is perfect, but they showed a lot of love, which is different. Me growing up, I was around and surrounded by love. So, like, a lot of things I'm not used to. I didn't grow up in a toxic environment. I didn't grow up in a traumatizing environment. Like, so even with him, I tried to keep him out of that type of environment. And now it's like toxic is the norm. Peace is abnormal. So nowadays I'll be considered weird because my life is based more around love and peace.
And that's really sad, because that's how it should have been, and that's how it should be. But man, people are crazy these days. So I definitely can see that. You know, the family isn't as close, in my opinion. The family isn't as close as they used to be. You know, is everybody is out for themselves, and it's just a bunch of craziness going on. How do you think so? If I'm not mistaken, he got arrested when he was around 20, which is pretty young. How do you feel that changed the family dynamic? You know, because from what I remember, it was always you guys, and everybody was all good, and you know, you guys seem to be doing pretty good from my perspective. But you know, once you hear that 10-year sentence, how does that change things?
I'm not going to say it changed our family dynamic, because it's always going to be me and him.
Right.
Always. I don't care where he at. It's going to be me and him. But what happened was, you have to think about, like, his little sister, how it affected her, because she was used to seeing him. Having a little sister as an adult is kind of like your child. So it's little things that she remembered and expected that she wasn't able to get anymore. So when they, I would say that part, but my family was very, very supportive. Like, they didn't, like, I won't say they canceled him out or anything. They were very supportive with him, in or out. And that was one of the blessings he had. And I know a lot of people don't have that.
Right.
We never judged the path he chose, because that was the path he chose, even though it wasn't the best path. But sometimes you got to experience the wrong one to appreciate the good one, you know?
Yeah,
So as far as
definitely.
the side of it, I was there regardless. We was there regardless. He can call, he can reach out, he can, if he needed something, we all was there. So he just
Definitely understand
what
that.
yeah.
Right. Right. So that's a blessing, man, because like you said, a lot of people don't have that support. You know, a lot of people, they get locked up and the world forgets about them. You know, sometimes they don't even really have that support where they're on the outside to prevent them from even going in. So that's a huge blessing, especially to still have that same support a decade later. Like, you know, I talk to a lot of people that's locked up on this platform and things like that, and they always is the same thing, how family members and friends just drop off, and you know, and uh it's definitely a great thing that we're still here for him. You know, that's still my brother. You know, we're not blood related, but you know, me and him been running around doing stupid stuff since we was this yay high.
Don't I remember? Oh my God.
But you know, I had to hit my head a little bit as well. You know, because in my particular situation, I didn't really have a lot of males going around, so I kind of I understand what you're saying when you said that anger and things like that, you know, and it's just no way of letting that out. And, you know, me personally, I used to hang out with guys like him so we can, you know, to feel, I don't even know what it would be at this time, but, you know, it's definitely a crazy dynamic, you know, because to us, we're just doing us, you know, like we see these rappers on TV and they do talking about all this craziness and we just want to fit in and things like that, and then it leads us to a place like this. So it's definitely a crazy situation in our community, and we're trying to combat that right now. Um, you spoke on his little sister. He tells me stories about her, how she's doing her thing now, and like, you know, she start her own business and stuff like that. Tell me, what kind of things did you instill in her? How did you prevent her from doing the path that he did, basically?
Well, the thing with that is they experienced two different parents. He experienced the young hustler. She experienced the more the stable, established parent. So it's a little different. And I don't think it's because I gave them both the same thing. So it's not a matter of what I did different because I kept him busy and different stuff too. Same with her. But with her, I was home more. I think with him, I was working more. So he didn't experience the mom that was at home all day working from home and he could actually be next to me. She experienced the mom who worked from home. If I was in businesses or doing different things, she would be with me. Even at work, if she was out of school, she was at when I was working, she would be right there. So it's kind of like my mindset shifted more to having her with me at all times versus with him, I was in survival mode. I wanted to make sure he had what he needed to have as a child. With her, she had it automatically, and the thing was I needed her close.
That's key, man. And I appreciate you for sharing that with us. Do you have any advice for single mothers for both two situations, for raising young men and raising young women? Do you have any advice for the differences?
Raising young men, having father figure, because we can't raise a man. We
Right.
can love, provide. That's all we can do. Like I said, have them around people, men, who can teach them how to be a man. If you're a single parent, he had my grandparent, he had his grandfather, he had godfather. So even with that, he had strong men around him. But when I moved here, I kind of took him from that. Men are important in both male and female lives. My daughter has her father, and the advice I would give is the kids need both parents. Period. They need both parents. Y'all don't have to be together in order for the child to have a relationship with both. But you need it. And you have to know too that every situation is not mixed. So if you're in a toxic situation that's going to be traumatizing the child, you kind of want to leave that situation too. So it's situational based. I can't really speak on how to raise a man because I'm not one.
Right, right, right.
And like I remember I used to tell him all the time, oh no, my mindset back then was I'm gonna make sure I didn't want to be on welfare. I wasn't gonna be a statistic. I had my son at 18. I wasn't gonna be poor. I wasn't gonna be just because she's a single parent, she's gonna just be in a slum. And that was my thing. I refused to be a statistic. And I remember telling him, I worked hard up all this time not to be a statistic for you to become grown and make me a statistic. Like, where did I go wrong? But then one of the things he said to me was he couldn't have had a better parent because, I mean, I did all I could. It wasn't my fault. And that was the one thing he said to me that had helped me through the whole situation. Oh, right. Sorry. Kick the damn dog.
Right. Oh, man. Hey, man, well, you really just said something key right there, man. And I feel like a lot of people need to hear that, man. No matter if y'all together or not, these children need both parents. And, man, I've seen too many situations where one of the parents is isolated, whether it be the mother or the father. One of them is isolated from the child's life because of some personal things between the mom and the dad, you know, and that has nothing to do with the kids and things like that. But at the end of the day, you're just creating a crutch for them. You're not setting them up for success like that. So I'm really glad you spoke on that, because
stop bashing the parents. Let these kids grow up and form their own opinion of their parent, whether it's the mom or stop bashing. Because and now you're forcing a child to choose when they don't even know how or why would they have to choose. So that's traumatizing within itself. So guess what? They go to the world where they don't have to choose either one of y'all, and they end up choosing the streets. That's their piece, and that's not fair. They don't want to hear the mom bashing the dad or the dad bashing the mom because they don't know, and it's not for them to know. It's adult business. So yeah, I've always believed in that as well. I grew up with a not so my dad hell, like for real, but my mother never said it, and you would never hear her say it. I had to learn that on my own. So that's the fair way to do it.
Right. Whew, man, you said a word right there, man. Hey, man, like I said, I definitely appreciate that. We're gonna start wrapping it up now, man. You definitely said a lot of key things here, man. I feel like people are definitely gonna have to unpack this, whether they're ready for that message or not. I definitely appreciate you putting it out there. Is there anybody you want to shout out?
I want to shout out Money Man G Money.
Yeah.
Of course, I do want to shout him out. My daughter, I don't know if she joined. I ain't gonna put her IG out here because she's still young. Okay. But my nieces, just my family, everybody, all my loved ones, I'm shouting them all out. Thank y'all for the support, Buddha. Thank y'all for always being there for us. The love you showed us. That's all I can do.
Well, I want to shout you out because like I said, I remember you when I was 15, 16, and, you know, we was young hotheads, man. And I feel like throughout that whole time, like, you've always been there. And, you know, I've watched the support, you know, like the support that you said you had and love that you said you have for him. I've seen it myself, you know, and I from the very first incident, I'm not necessarily going to expand on that, but from the very first incident, we was there, and I seen you go hard for your son every time, and no matter what, like, we've always like tried to do things to better ourselves, and you've always been there supporting. So I want to say I appreciate you. I love you for that. You know what I'm saying? Man, you family at this point, you know?
My son too.
Exactly. So, you know, we doing this here. We're just trying to better ourselves, trying to better the culture as well. Because in my opinion, a lot of this stuff, just like how you said, G said that you was the perfect mother. I feel like I had the perfect mother as well. My mother always supported. I never seen my mom do anything illegal. I've always seen my mom working, hustling, and I still ended up in the situation I ended up in. And it was no fault of her own. It's just the culture we live in. I thought certain things was cool. I thought it was cool to rob people and smoke weed, and, you know, like, that's just, it was nothing that my mother taught me or anything like that. It's just the world we live in. So right now, we're on a mission to try to better that, to try to shine a brighter light on the culture, because there's more to us than that, you know. So I just want to say I thank you for joining this platform. You've supported us throughout whatever we did, whatever we did. And I know you're going to continue doing that. So I love you, mama. I definitely appreciate you, man. I want to shout out to everybody else that's joined the platform. And you know, we got a lot. We just this is really just the beginning. So we got a lot more coming. You know, G coming home real soon. G is coming home real soon. So when he touched down, we're gonna be making even better moves, bigger moves, and we're on a real mission to change things and make the our world. We may not be able to change the world, but we could change our world. That's my
right.
motto. When I definitely feel like we're on a mission on it. So I just want to say I appreciate you, mama.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
For sure, for sure. You have a safe trip. And like I said, thanks again for joining the platform, man. This is Hip Hop Court, and this case dismissed, man.